This is FNGR, and today I'm on here to basically... Jesus, I don't even know where to start. I have screwed up so unbelievably bad the other day, what probably should have been one of the biggest podcasts I've ever had, and it's literally all my fault. Yesterday's podcast, which is currently being edited by someone else because I can't handle the stress and I'm a complete weakling mentally. Viva Reverie. And that's probably the first time I've ever gotten the name right, as I probably screwed that up all throughout the podcast. I originally managed to get this person for Limbo podcast by calling on a contact who I actually thought I'd been done all right with. There's a brony by the name of I Love Kim Possible a lot. I believe I probably owe her an apology as well for sharing with me one of her contacts in which I've horribly misrepresented myself. Her inaliated Mr. Reverie from ever wanting to be involved in a podcast ever again. Additionally, I would also like to apologize to Nate Kegman, who was more than patient enough to be on standby when I got moronically impatient, wondering whether or not Mr. Reverie would join or not. It got close enough to like a half hour from when the podcast started. I originally called him off because Mr. Reverie did confirm in time, and then he couldn't connect, and I had a special guest host, AnimatedJames, waiting there, and I panicked. And I originally first I had gotten Nate Kegman as a fill-in, and then when Mr. Reverie did in fact show up, Nate was gracious enough to step aside. And then, because nothing in life is simple, Mr. Reverie was unable to connect. And this had gone on for about, 10, 20 minutes. I don't know. I could be exaggerating. I could be underselling it. I don't even remember anymore. Good God. What ultimately happened is that I panicked because Mr. Reverie, Link, was unable to join. I grabbed Keg, who had already left by then, and threw him into the call, and we began to have a podcast from there. And things were going well enough, and sure enough, probably 10 minutes into that, Mr. Reverie had joined, and it had just become one giant, colossal, unorganized pile. It was one big, giant mess. I wasn't able to give the proper respect to Mr. Reverie. I had not prepared for Nate Kegman, and I probably annihilated at least 2, maybe 3 different groups in the Brony community. I really blew it this time. And it all happened because I just couldn't be patient enough to wait because of connections. I want to apologize to Mr. Reverie. If I'd like to apologize to KP if she actually ever comes across this. I'd like to apologize to AnimatedJames, who was gracious enough to show up on my show a second time. I was hoping to show him like, oh yeah, this is going to be my gateway to getting great guest hosts. This is going to be my big moment. And nobody on my show, not Liki, Dusty Rhodes, not Peter, Aeon of Dreams, certainly not Corpulent Brony, not Sheldon. Every one of my co-hosts performed excellently that day. I'd like to thank James for being as patient as he was. I'd like to thank everyone. Nate Kegman for being patient. Reverie has no doubt secured his place in heaven for his abundant amount of patience for that evening. I really would like to apologize and hope that he does not sour that not all podcasts are clearly as terrible as the one that he was just in. And I hope never to do anything as uncoordinated and just sloppy as I did. It's not to say that it's not fun. It's not to say that Nate Kegman didn't go out there and perform his ass off and wasn't terribly entertaining. It's just I feel like I really blew it. And I'm sorry. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. And I hope you manage to enjoy whatever parts of that show when it does indeed eventually go up. Thank you.